Pretty road Atlanta. A circuit which, 4.1 kilometers and 12 turns, arguably is one of the hidden gems in racing. It's one of those tough circuits which people on paper go, oh, it's just road Atlanta. It doesn't mean anything. It's like any other circuit that you'd find, but no, certainly it's different. It's a lot more different than what you'd expect it to be, because road Atlanta is always going to be a challenge. The bumps, the undulation, and of course the dreaded, notorious Turn 5. This here on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV is Ava's Race Against Cancer, and it will start in just a couple of moments. Minutes, open season for qualifying. They are all out on track at exactly the same time. They're all looking to put their best lap times down on the board. Pro Mazdas and Formula Renaults, two categories racing in exactly the same race for exactly the same prize. Victory here today as the first time comes in. The quickest time on the board is one of only 4 Formula Renaults here today. No surprises though who is in that Formula Renault. Uni Silvasti is the legendary driver when it comes to Formula Renault racing. He is arguably one of the highest iRacing drivers in the world here on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. I am #DoYouMindJakeSperry, the observer of sim racing, joined with Justin Prince alongside me. Justin, this is more though than just a race. This is more than just a victory. This is more than just the battles that you will see on circuit. It's 48 minutes, but we are fighting today. Well, fighting? No, we're racing today for a cause.
Yeah, racing today for a good cause. A race against cancer, as the name says. As Lorenzo Bonter said with yesterday's race, cancer is something that really sucks, and it's something that for a lot of people you do not want to end up seeing, even for your worst enemy, to be diagnosed with cancer. In this case, we're trying to race against cancer to try and raise money for a good cause once again, to try and help a young child.
We certainly are, as now everyone just getting a little bit of anticipation going. We're 4 minutes into qualifying. Your top 5 as follows: Silvasti, Dendelo, Wallace, McIver, and Gimmelwitz makes up your 5 at the moment. Got a pretty strong field for this one, like some Martin van Loosen or the Boris Spolstra here as well. So certainly got some drivers who work very well when it comes to a Formula Renault, and certainly will have a very good run of things. Chris Knight, though, has found himself in the wall, the inside tyres at turn 5, arguably the most difficult corner on circuit.
Yeah, this was a part where a lot of different drivers got involved in incidents during practice to prepare for today, especially on the exit, because you either get loose on the exit, or you hit the rumble strips on the right side on the exit and end up bottoming out and losing control right there. So a lot of drivers, if you want to make it through treacherous turn number 5, you have to take it very cautiously and patiently to make sure you don't lose control of your car.
SS section then for Henry Robert in the number 20. We expect good things coming out of his race as he now angles himself down the hill in his Pro Master, but to come back up it then into turn 5, which is pretty much, you can't go too far left, too far right, too far up, too far down. You have to be inch perfect or else you are nothing, and he tackles that corner well. Now into 6 and then 7 coming up as well. These two 90-degree right-handers. The second one, the slower one, the more difficult one, as now they head for this run. Few small kinks left and right, 8, 9, and then of course then there is the 10A, 10B section. And well, for Henry Robert, who's got a bit of draft, Ollie Rochen just in front will be very, very useful, that number 6, but hopes that he will not catch before now and the end of this one. But for the moment at least, Henry Robert closing down the gap as he heads into the lefts and rights as more times to go through. Jesus Manuel moves up inside the top 5 then for the first time in this open qualifying, and across the line Henry Robert will go and he will score himself a time of a 1:18.007. That's enough to go 5th. Remember, this is open qualifying here, Justin, so that means that once that timer expires, you have until the end of your lap to finish.
Yes, a lot of opportunities to try and improve your time, but one of the main challenges you see there, especially with group qualifying, sometimes you have traffic in front of you, sometimes to advantage, sometimes it ends up making you end up not hitting your marks the way you need to for a corner. So it really adds a bit more challenges into how you run a lap here, especially to make sure you don't end up bumping to an air car, as well as try and get the fastest time possible without getting disrupted by the drivers in front of you.
Yes, exactly. We have a couple of drivers that can get out on track. One of them is the number 26, Martin van Loosnord, ex-Apex Racing UK, ex-iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series caliber driver. So a lot of expectations as Tim McIver moves up into second position on a 1:17.5. But get this, he's a full 9/10 of a second behind your race or your pole sitter right now, Judy Silvasti. Golf in class.
Yeah, we were talking about Silvasti before coming on air in the dominance with him. Top 25 in iRating, somebody that is probably the best driver in the Formula Renault. So he's going to be someone with Silvasti to try and be a big-time challenge for sure in this one, especially with the field today, to try and come out on top. But you never know what's going to happen during the race, of course. Look at the times here again. And with McIver trying to close up on time, maybe using the car in front of him in the Pro Mazda to try and maybe get a bit more drag. But it's currently about a 9/10 of a second difference between the two Formula Renaults up at the front.
Well, it certainly all could change when you talk about Silvasti. In terms of his iRating push, he is currently the 10th highest iRating. You talk about drivers in front of him, you talk Maximilian Benecke, the only sim racer to be up inside 10,000 iRating. You talk Gregor Hutu, Martin Kroenke, the likes of Patrick Holtzman, Mitchell de Jong, Mac Backham, Frederick Rasmussen, just to name a few. It's an illustrious club, and when you're sitting there with a massive amount of iRating, 8,799, you know that you are a pretty big deal. Van Loosnord, though, still hasn't got out to set his lap time yet. Boris Spolstra is on his first flying lap, and the Dutchman, of course, a former Formula Renault Series champion in iRacing, so he certainly has the pedigree to get himself up into the top echelons of this field. But as we know, he's got himself not long to make it happen. He's got himself a full 1 minute to get over the line, and he'll have one lap after that.
Yeah, so that just puts even more pressure to make sure you get your marks right in these next 2 laps. You can't afford to make any mistakes, and you have to hope you don't get held up by traffic with the group qualifying. So I can see him working as hard as he can here. In terms of the pace, he has to make sure. Right now, it looks like he might be at the very least in the top 5 with qualifying as we look at the time right now in terms of the speed. And it looks like he knows he messed up there. He's just going to end it off right there.
He's not got time to come back and do another lap, though, so that will be it for Boris Spolstra. He won't get around, nor will Van Loosnord. They will do last to first challenges then over the course of 48 minutes. Fantastic news then for Juni Silvasti, but it's a race now to the line. 15 seconds, and everybody now just trying to get through. 10 seconds. Mark Cooper should make his way to the line with 5 seconds now left to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. He'll get one more lap in, so Jack Bourbon will be the first to come across the line. 1:21.9, his fastest time so far, and he will go and increase that to a 1:21.7. Improvements for Ollie Roetgen as well. He moves to a 1:20.3, but that's not really good enough. Manning Grinnan, keep an eye on this one in the 47. He's certainly someone who goes up there, has a very good capability of pushing forward and making the times work in his favor, and Manning knows what it's like to be at the top end of these Pro Mazda races. He's always been knocking on the doors of those who look to try and race their socks off here. On the brakes, looking for 10A and 10B then. So 10A, this left-hander, opening up the corner nicely and heavy over the curb through 10B as well. He's leaving everything out on the track as he looks for the right hand of the final corner, turn number 12, and he will come across the line and do himself a 1:17.9. That will move himself up in time, and it will certainly give himself a bit more leeway when it comes to this one. The last driver to set a lap time will be Mark Cooper, and we'll keep an eye on what he can do. He's currently in 15th here in the 303 machine with a 1:19.448. Needs half a second to move up past Brenton Parker, and the answer is going to be a 1:19.298. You bet it is going to start trying to move him up, but not as much as he would have wanted. Everybody done then. The grid will be as follows. Juni Silvasti will have a very, very good run as I completely flub the music cue. But Juni Silvasti then, pole position 1:16.579, a full 0.8 of a second clear of Tim McIver. In second position, Davide Dendolo marks the first of the Pro Mazdas. In third, with Fabio Berchold in fourth, and Ron Wallace rounding out the top 5. Manning Grinnan then will start from 6th with Henry Robert in 7th. Jesus Manuel will start from 8th with Les Pack and Aurelian Gimmelwitz rounding out the top 10. Following that, though, onto the second page, Jean-Paul Bonadonna and Robert Simpkins with Vincenzo Taormina and Brenton Parker getting themselves 13th and 14th. Mark Cooper then and Chris Knight with Steve Kube and Ryan Cullen 17th and 18th. Ollie Rogen and Jack Bourbon make 19th and 20th with Fabrice Boisson in 21st position, with Martin van Loosnord, Boris Spolstra, Jim Lakey, Justin Jacobs and Greg Chalk running this one then from the back. But I've heard that Juni Silvasti will be starting this race from pit road. He wants a challenge here. He wants a challenge of running through the field with the likes of Silvasti, or Silvasti running with the likes, not necessarily himself, but certainly Van Loosnord and Boris Spolstra. So 48 minutes to get yourself back to the front. Well, that's a pretty nice challenge, I think. So we'll see if he can do it here in Ava's race. But for now, everybody gridding up. And the wait is on. Although a lot of time left then on the clock to make sure you get yourself up. Give yourself a couple of minutes, so a few drivers then will decide to wait and use all of the allotted time. And of course, with Silvasti wanting to start this one from pit road, it will guarantee that we will go to the full 2 minutes then of the grid up procedure. 48 minutes then to get the lap time will be done, a shade after 3 o'clock British Standard Time. And of course, the advantage then for now, without Silvasti on the front, will be drivers on the outside into turn number 1. But if you can get that inside track, it certainly could be of benefit. Pace behind Tim McIver then, as we wait for the lights to come on top of the iRacing gantry. When those lights go out, we shall be racing here at Road Atlanta, and let the race against cancer begin. Great start from McIver with those tyres that are heated up. You can see flying through the middle will be Jesus Manuel with the better 0 to 60 times coming up in those Formula Renaults. You can see that the Pro Mazdas, they swarm around and they have better aero grip dependency. So you'll see that it's in the corners that you will find the better opportunities then for these Pro Mazdas to make moves, as McIver has got away and got away very, very quickly when it's come to the early stages of the racing. One vehicle off already is Robert Simpkins, and now the chase is on for those who decided to start from the back of the field. Van Loosnord and Spolstra, certainly two that want to be getting through fast.
Yeah, they definitely want to try and get through as quick as they can. They're currently in traffic, already working their way through turn number 5 and having a few drivers having slowdown penalties already in front of them. So they're quickly trying to carve their way up already, at least towards the top 15 as they head towards, once again, through 6 and 7.
Big dive down the inside. Boris Spolstra takes the position, but it's still Tim MacGyver out in front. David Dendolo, Fabio Berchold, Ron Wallace, Jesus Manuel. Pressure behind as Robert and Grinnan look to try and go too wide, potentially behind as they make the run to 10A and 10B. Small little defence there from the driver of Robert, but Robert holding up station nicely then as one lap gets scored complete here at the circuit as there's a spinner. That's Ryan Cullen right on the exit of 10A.
I think that was Chris Knight, actually, I believe, and he just spun around at 360, already back going after spinning off a turn 10B as well for Knight, and you see now Cullen also spinning on as well, as you see right there. So multiple spinnies, I guess you can really say at that moment. Another tough part of the course going right down the hill where you have the very tight turn. You see there with Knight where it's set up for the spin cutting through the grass, and Cullen having to stop to avoid and make sure he didn't cross across the track.
Well, you can see how Silvasti is just carving through the field. He's got the aforementioned Knight in front of him, and the Knight certainly hoping that this is not going to be another one of those days, as he has himself a lot of pressure in front. Train of 4, then Knight, Silvasti will dispatch with. Then you got Lakely, Spolstra and Roach. Spolstra really having a bit of a struggle at the moment, not able to follow the same pace as Martin van Loosenhoorn, as Van Loosenhoorn now has Steve Kube that he wants to battle with in front. Side by side though, Ron Wallace is making his way through as Fabio Berchold is going to let him go for position number 3, but for now it's going to be all as you were just for the moment.
Yeah, for the moment right now, everyone just staying again single file, waiting to the right passing point position on the racetrack as you're following along with one of these close battles up on your screen with the number 23 again of Wallace trying to close on in. Last time by in terms of stripe, a 1:18.5. That was the second fastest time on the racetrack for Wallace.
Yep, for now, 17.8 there for Tim MacGyver. We'll see what other drivers had available. 19.8 that time for Martin van Loosenhoorn, for Junior Silvasti in the traffic. 120.2, he gets very close with Jim Lakey, but gets around Lakey without too much more issue than that. So your field right now currently a little bit spread out. You've got a pack behind Les Peck here in the 51. You've got Grinnan, Robert, Bonadonna, Taramina now under pressure as that is Brenton Parker making his way through down on the inside. But Taramina's going to come back potentially at the second chance, but that second chance is not forthcoming, unable to make that move happen. So for now, we've got ourselves Berchold in a bit of trouble. He's now found himself out of the event. And Justin, you had eyes.
Yes, just seen this here. If we go a little bit more back, as you've seen the extent of the damage from this is again going through the S's. I'm guessing you just seen what just happened there. Started to have a little bit of a bobble, led to him going into the grass, not able to get any traction, slams hard into the concrete. He goes to the garage.
It's just like that, and that's not always going to be very, very helpful at all. As now, it's still going to be a chase. We've still got that pack now behind Jesus Manuel, which is making life a little bit difficult because it's trying to pass a different style of vehicle. You've got these Pro Masters trying to get past the Formula Renault. It's not quite happening the way that they want that one to go at the moment. So for now, Jesus Manuel in his 120 flat last time by was a full second slower than Les Pack.
Yeah, right now Pack is getting into a great run there and gets an even better run because of the wide entry. Now Manuel is going to have to really try and fight on the defensive line, but because of that run again from Peck from behind, he's just going to breeze on by and move into P number 4 and just pulling away. And now Grinnan's going to do the same thing. I think he might have just about tapped him near the back, very close there to get right to the back wing. And now Manuel's in a bunch of traffic.
He is, and there was Jean-Paul Bonadonna making sure he could get a 2-for-1 special offer at the supermarket, but the pace comes back then for Manuel, who's looking through. Behind that, though, Manning Grinnan under pressure as through down to the inside will look Brenton Parker, who gives Grinnan next to no room and makes the position. And, of course, actually, I do correct myself, that was Henry Robert making the move. So already we're seeing here drivers looking to get through as there is Boris Spolstra going 2-for-1 down on the brakes with a damaged front wing as well. So Spolstra against the odds, finding himself with a fantastic move as the battle continued. 2s and 3s, they make their way to the S's here in this middle of the pack.
Yeah, you see the replay right here. Again, went for 2 for 1. Went with late braking. Very tight on the left, very tight on the right. Able to get the pass done and get enough separation. Still has 3 cars behind him, but a decent spot. But battle for second place is heating on up.
It is. You got Ron Wallace then in second ahead of David Dendolo. And Dendolo trying everything to hold station, lost the position over the course of that last lap. So Ron Wallace is on a move and was certainly quicker over the last 2 or 3 laps as well by a good 0.8 of a second. So making that move, certainly getting the positions that are wanted and certainly proving that he can make overtakes on the brakes into the left-right chicane once more. Not close enough then to make that move, but set up the run well down the hill. You have a chance to win.
Yeah, and last time Dendolo got a decent run to the point where he's up to the back wing. Let's see if he does it this time again. This time he got a decent enough run to actually get underneath, but again, just with the bit later braking for Wallace, able to just keep the spot. But you can see Dendolo's trying to find any way he can, searching for any line open. But now he's going to have to try and reset again for the next lap.
Here's the scary part about these drivers. They're running 118 flats, which are no slouches at all. It was an 18 flat from MacGyver as well. But look at what the time Silvasti's doing. He just did a 117.1, a full 9/10 of a second quicker. Van Loosnord on the back of a massive train as well, which involves the Taramina Parker. Robert running wide as he heads through the grass, desperately trying to pick back up the position, and will do. Van Loosnord thought about making the move into 6, sorry. Not going to be able to make that one work, so he's going to have to sit and wait for another opportunity. Here's Dendolo though, he was trying to track in underneath there with Ron Wallace, and he may be thinking about going back to the inside. He angles that move towards it, and he's going to get himself down the inside on the brakes and back into second.
I think at that point, Wallace knew he did not want to be side by side through 10A and 10B. Just let him get the position, knew he was getting runs, and let him come back later on in this race. So just letting him on by, at least for now. But again, a huge run by Wallace where he had to just back off into 1.
Yeah, just had to back that one off, but backs off very, very well as he looks to make his charges forward. We've also got this lovely scrap going on as Van Loosnord finally gets around Vincenzo Taramina, and Taramina runs off then through the grass at turn number 1. No contact, but now all of a sudden Van Loosnord's got a bit of a friend. It's Uni Silvasti, the man ranked 10th in the world in iRacing, that he's got just there waiting in the wings. So for Martin Van Loosnord, get through drivers quickly. Henry Robert's no slouch, nor's Brenton Parker, but you've got to get the pace up because Silvasti, that last time by, was 2.8 seconds quicker on that last time by.
That's an absolutely unbelievable blistering pace, to say the very least, with Silvasti. You see the way he's driving, just heading the points that he needs to. Look at the differential again, gaining every single time, more and more, in fact, as the race goes on. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him up towards the lead pretty soon, as it looks like we might have a battle forming up for P number 4.
We certainly do, side by side. There was Les Peck and Jean-Paul Bonadonna. Bonadonna holding station at the moment. Manning Grinnan waiting as well. Ron Wallace has got back through then on David Dendolo. That one for second, ever changing as he looks to try and have another good run. As out of pit road comes Jesus Manuel, now 1 lap down after an incident. So still, opportunity knocking as Henry Robert loses the position now to Silvasti. You've got to start making positions fast. This may be a 48-minute race, but after 10 minutes of racing already, you can see now how the pack is chasing.
Yeah, it's really starting to chase. A lot of drivers starting to get into the rhythm and use the slipstreams and the drag to get on by for positions. Look the way Silvasti is going to do it once again, right up to the back, intimidate the driver a bit, gets out right at the last moment before there's a defensive move that can be done, and get to the inside preferred line. Silvasti's doing this in a very quick and efficient way. He's still got, as you see, a bunch of drivers for this train of cars at least to work through, but he's getting the pace he needs to, and a lot of these drivers, again, getting to where they need to be and noticing they have to do it to the last moment so they don't get blocked coming towards the entrance of a corner.
Exactly. Hoistingveld on the rear wing, Virtual Racing School on the front wing for Silvasti, with Martin Van Loosnord just behind, waiting just to stay and use maybe as a pick. We also have to say that there is a pit stop strategy. They have to come in, make one stop, fill up the tank and go through. They are fuel limited when it comes to this race. And as you say that, Manning Grinnan diving down onto the lane, getting out of the train early. But maybe that's something that Silvastri needs to think about. Diving down now early, getting the 3 gallons in that he needs and coming back out again.
I think that might be a good strategy because, again, everybody's going to have to come and pit with the fuel limit, about 5.7 gallons for each car. So they will all have to come in. Why not? Why deal with a bunch of traffic and lose a bit of time here and there? Wear out your tires. Just get out of the traffic, get some clean air once you come out of the pits, and go from there.
Go from there and make sure that you go quickly, as Silvastri still waiting to find a way against Brenton Parker. Parker, one of the tough battlers when it comes to Pro Mazda racing. You don't often find many drivers who do much better than that. We got some great battling though further backwards in the pack. Fabio Berchold and Mark Cooper, except Berchold is a few laps down. Also got the likes, say, of, I'm just continuing to look back, got Jack Bourbon desperately chasing down Fabrice Poisson. That one not really too close, and off goes Les Pack.
Just was about to say that right there. Pack ended up hitting the brakes, I think, a bit too hard, and that led him towards the grass between 10A and B. Looking at the replay right here on the entry, you see he touched the grass a little bit starting on the entry. That didn't matter as much. It's just at that time did not hit the brakes, I think, enough to the point where even as much as he was turning it, it just pulled into the grass, losing a bunch of spots right there, falling to P number 9 and losing the group.
Yeah, and that's going to be vital. Silvastri has made his way through on Brenton Parker, and already you can see just how quickly he just gets away. He's just almost like a dancer, the way he just effortlessly goes through the SS section. It's almost as if he has become one with the vehicle instantly on the rear of Jean-Paul Bonadonna, as if it was absolutely nothing here. And that's going to be the next question. How quickly can Juni Silvastri, who started from dead last in pit road, mind you, how quickly can he come back through the field? Because he's got himself already up into 5th place, now looking for 4th and going down the inside. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, because Silvastri is now 4th.
Right now, from what I'm seeing in terms of the intervals he's gained.
Oh my goodness, and it's collective Bonadonna. That was Ollie Roachin. That was a very dangerous rejoin there. Ollie's got to be careful about doing that. He spun it around, thought he was safe to come back on. I think he was just looking for the right way to go, but just ran out of road.
Yeah, looking at the replay here, that was very close with Silvastri too, and my goodness, that was a very, very dangerous place to even enter the racetrack. His car, very slow, of course, now in the pit entry after that. We'll see what it cost the spin now on the replays. He was on the downhill, hitting hard onto the brakes, obviously, in this case. But again, ended up locking them up just a tiny little bit, you might have noticed. And then, for these drivers, they don't know that there's a car on the left side of the track. Then they see him just as he's on the exit. Silvastri just able to avoid him there a little bit earlier, and Silvastri would have been the one getting damaged there in that situation.
And they say, Justin, sometimes the greatest skill a race driver can have is luck.
Well, that was 100% luck, I think, in that case, because the way they were entering, they had maybe about half a second to see the driver right there on the right side. That was pure luck in terms of timing. Meanwhile, Grinnan, he was the first driver to pit in. He's having major troubles off in the grass and now spinning in turn 5.
Uh-oh, so Manning Grinnan running into issues, and he's looking to get back out and going again. That's not going to help him in his race. He was right behind Robert Simpkins as he was heading up through 5, and it's so easy to lose it. He lost it on entry, dropped the wheels, and, well, round he went. It's as quickly as that.
Yeah, and it doesn't help either, as you've seen going through the grass even before then. Again, he was, again, the first driver to pit, and you said it. Get in, get out of the traffic, and then go fast. That time went too fast for that section of the track. Spins it around at 360, and now he's all the way back in 22nd spot. By the time the pit cycle's done, he might lose at least 4 or 5 spots because of that rough for past a couple corners.
Here is Martin van Loosenhoort then looking to attack Jean-Paul Bonadonna for position 4, or position 5, sorry, now, out on circuit. So Martin van Loosenhoort sitting in the draft. We saw how Jean-Paul Bonadonna got involved in that incident, seemingly unscathed from it, but as easy as you have that. 220 kph against 235. Martin van Loozenhout always had the top speed, but I think that Jean-Paul really does not have that top speed at all. So there's another spinner. Is that Ollie Roachin again? It is, and there's a spinner as well. That's Brenton Parker.
Well, I think for Roachin, it's been not his best day, I guess you can say, in the exact same spot, mind you.
See the tire marks from where he was last there.
Yeah, and you can see him sitting in the grass as Parker ended up just taking the corner too strong on the apex to lead to him hooking around. Both of them coming away unscathed. Let's see what happened to Roachin again, where just near exactly the same spot, exactly the same way he spun out, basically, locking up the tires and then spinning to the grass. That time being much more patient on his entry, obviously, with the traffic after what happened the last time.
Well, he certainly had a few 3.4, 5-point turns to get the vehicle back going, and Ollie learning that to get out of the way, he would certainly drop back a multitude of places. But for now, top three remain MacGyver with Wallace and Dendelo. Wallace still ahead of Dendelo in this battle for second place as the pair of them still looking to push on here. Lap 13 of their event, 15 minutes, now 17 minutes through into this race. So we're already looking at the halfway stage in just about 5 to 8 minutes time. A lot of work still left to be done in this race. Of course, a lap 1 minute 18 around Road Atlanta. So to put that into perspective, for every 4 minutes you're doing 3 laps.
Yeah, it's still a very quick pace, at the say the very least. We've been at about the same pace since the drop of the green flag with no need for tires here. So everyone's just at this point running in that range, as you mentioned, continuing up at the pace. No major issues in terms of times overall today, so everyone's just hitting again their marks to get into the 118s. Only driver in the 117s, you can take a quick guess who's in the 117s and the only driver in that range.
Oh yes you can, Mr. number 22, Juni Silvasti. So Juni knows that he is chasing, and that 117.4 that last time by was a full 0.8 of a second quicker than David Dendelo, a full second quicker than Ron Wallace, and a full 0.8 of a second quicker than race leader Tim MacGyver. Gap down to 5 seconds, and probably more looking like 4 now. Silvasti, well, there's no point just sitting and waiting. It's the unstoppable tide of Silvasti at the moment. He's coming, and there's not much you can do to stop him.
Yeah, he continues to click off pace after pace. The fastest lap was 7/10, pardon me, than the race leader.
Wow, what a time. Just did a 1:16.8. That is the fastest lap of the day so far.
What were we just saying again? He's absolutely dialed on in. That was the fastest by far. I think that was right on par just about with his qualifying time as well. So even with a bit worn tires now, 15 laps into a run, he's just on his way to these cars up in front of him. He's going to be reaching them quick already, 3.6 back of them.
We got a spinner. It's Jesus Manuel, who is day done, back on pit road once more. So the spin certainly happening. You've got 2 fast repairs, but it's so easy to spin the vehicle, and Jesus Manuel decides, I'm retiring the vehicle. Not quite what we want to see, but it will be what it is. So you look at the pace that was improving from the likes of Wallace and Dendelo. Dendelo really having a horrible lap actually this time by. Just trying to have a look at where he lost all that time, and that would have been coming out of the corner at turn number 7. He just got a massive wiggle and held it, but lost a lot of time because of it.
Yeah, and we're going to see this on the replay. And he, once again, just started a hook around and had to save that car before it went towards the concrete barriers on the right side. Has had a decent run through turn number 6, but again, turn 7 just ended up going too hard into the apex. That led to the wiggle and the need to save that car. So again, showing where if you are off by even a couple inches on your marks, that is what can happen in that case. Loses him a heck of a lot of time, as you mentioned. Now he's about a second back now to Wallace.
Well, 1 second back, that's not ideal, especially when you've got Silvasti within 3 seconds of you, soon to be within 2 seconds of you, and there's traffic in the distance. Bourbon, Brennan, Cullen, Boyson. MacGyver's got to deal with it first. Then you got the two of Dendelo and Wallace. Or Juni Silvasti will start making that charge. Mats van Loosenord, though, quiet drive in 5th position. It will just be that only, a quiet drive for now, but there will be some fireworks later on as there's a spinner, and that's Robert Simpkins out of turn 1.
Yeah, looks like he's had a bit of troubles at parts of this day today. He's all the way back now at 21st after the spin that you will see out of turn number 1, where he just started sliding and losing control halfway through the apex. Might have just hit that a little bit of a bump in turn number 1. That ended up hooking him around there. Able to at least keep on going after that to at least stay in a decent spot. But again, he's all the way back in 21st after that.
21st and right on the radar of Tim MacGyver to be lapped very, very soon. So Robert Simpkins got to get a move on then if he doesn't want to fall a lap down here at Road Atlanta. 20 minutes already scored, complete 22 minutes. We are heading over towards and the halfway stage. Dendelo back on the rear then of Ron Wallace in the battle for 2nd position, 2nd, 3rd, and now 4th. Because Silvasti only closed 2 tenths there on that last lap on David Dendelo. But Dendelo by far and away using the draft to make his lap time of a 1:17.3 count.
Yeah, he definitely is to try and take advantage of some of these long straightaways, especially that straightaway from 7 all the way down to 10A, where you get some help with the downhill section as well in part of the entry. So this is, again, the part where we talked about where it sets you up for turn number 1.
Oh, wow.
And now...
Sorry, that's another fastest lap for Juni Silvasti.
I figured it was probably something along that range. Now a 1:16.785. It looked just a bit more faster the last time by a full 10th. So Silvasti's now taking advantage of that example with the draft and the drag from behind to the point where he's closing in. But on top of that, the difference that we're seeing between a lot of these drivers is the way he's been able to manage the corners for Silvasti behind these guys. That time, he's closing up right up behind them, working their way through traffic, and look at the way he's doing this now. Just able to get late on the brakes and able to just time it up on the apex to not even lose any time on exit.
No time lost on exit, still there. Silvasti wants to get through quickly and get through very, very quickly at that. He is right in the wheelhouse then to getting to David Dendelo. Probably not going to go for the dive when it comes to 10A, 10B. Would rather pick and choose his moment. He's over half the race then to close down 5 seconds. And remember, for a lot of the time, he was 15 seconds back. Defensive line taken as down onto the lane goes one. Silvasti goes down the inside of the other, takes advantage. Just like that, 4th to 2nd in the space of 1 corner.
Yeah, I don't think that Dendelo was expecting that Wallace was going to go in the pits. You've seen there, Wallace holds him up a little bit. Silvasti sees this, goes right to the bottom side, able to just make the pass pretty easily, able to gain the spot, and now his focus has to be on gaining up to the leader once again in MacGyver right now, back by about 3.4 seconds, but closing every single corner. As you see Wallace again on the pits, a few drivers are going to join him.
Ron Wallace in on the lane, as is Jean-Paul Bonadonna. And now Aurelian Gimmelwitz decides to dive down onto the lane as well for a little bit of pit stop action that we've got going on, as Jack Bourbon now getting overtaken by David Dendelo. That one for a bit of lap traffic. But for Tim MacGyver, it's been a strong drive at the front of this field, but it has only been a strong drive at the front of the field for so long. And time, well, there's only 3 things that are certain right now in this race: death, taxes, and Juni Silvasti.
Yeah, that is 100% for sure. Like I mentioned, that Silvasti, every single corner I've noticed, especially in the past few laps, he's gaining at least a 10th a corner with the way he's been able, again, to take the apex and in the way the exit. Let's look at the lap time this time. Remember, had a fastest lap time a couple laps ago, 1.6 seconds gained in terms of comparison with MacGyver, with a 1:17.1 to a 1:18.8 for MacGyver. So he is coming and cruising and coming quickly in open space. MacGyver on top of not taking the entrances, the apex and exits as much as he needs to, has Silvasti in clean air compared to traffic for MacGyver.
Well, clean air and the traffic then will soon be affecting a certain Juni Silvasti as MacGyver looks to try and put the laps in and make them work Martin van Loosenhoorn still out on circuit as David Dendelo decided to come down onto pit road that last time by and comes out with Les Peck just in front, who is yet to make a stop, miles ahead of a certain Ron Wallace. So certainly a lot of difference when it came to the pit stop window for David Dendelo. He made a lot of time up in that scenario, but the traffic cleared then for MacGyver. He's got past Ryan Cullen, and for Silvasti, he just wants to effortlessly drive his way through, and in fact he's going to continue out on that run, and he uses that tighter line heading to the final corner, able just to be a little bit more smoother with his wheel inputs. Another second locked off as he brings the gap down to 1.7.
Yeah, he's just again hitting the marks right on point for what he needs to compared to MacGyver. Or every single corner, like that time, just to gain another 10th. Now going through the S's, has a chance for another 10th. As we look at the replay here, he even got to the point where he clipped the grass and still gained the spot after that little bit. Look at this on the nice, beautiful slow motion of how tight it was with the grass being flipped up in the air underneath the left side tires on his machine.
Well, there's a lovely little slow motion. Let's take you on board with an ATVO powered graphic then, as Silvasti looks to climb through the gears at 210 kilometers an hour, pushing to 220, pushing up for 230 to 30 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 239 kilometers an hour on the brakes with a vehicle in front. Yes, you're absolutely right. That was Chris Knight right on the entry to the corner. He was spread eagle sideways, but nobody getting involved in that one. So Chris Knight dives down onto the lane, but here comes Silvasti then, looking for the opportunity. Started dead last from pit road, and now to the race lead, outclassing everybody.
Just making it easy, but I think with Knight spinning around in the corner in front of his spread eagle, MacGyver had to let off a bit on the gas to try and avoid him. That really helps set up the door again for Silvasti to reach him even faster right there. And now he's again making it very easy. Already 0.8 of a second, already up to a full second. Now heading into 6 and 7 with the pace he's running. Just making it look very easily as he's lapping his way up towards some drivers. There's like Jim Lakey now, and Steve McKay behind him.
MacGyver around, contact then at turn 7 as quickly as that, looking to go down on the brakes. A complete misjudge of the brakes from Justin Jacobs, and Jacobs just takes the rear, and that then for MacGyver, he will not be very happy at all. It puts him in the wheelhouse now of Martin van Loosenhoorn, and Justin Jacobs will be a very, very apologetic man afterwards.
I think he definitely has to be right there. Tighter entry, I think, for MacGyver in terms of the line going from top to bottom. But Jacobs, I think, wasn't expecting him to come down, just smash back into the back of him as traffic. MacGyver's obviously going to come in along with Silvasti after that. So they're coming in for their final remaining need for fuel.
And that means Martin van Loosenhoorn then will inherit the race lead, who has been saving fuel maybe a little bit better than Silvasti has. So on that 23, we are heading to the half-hour stage. That would allow 18 minutes left then in this event. And Martin van Loosenhoorn then has the lead for now, but is more rather focused on Tim MacGyver and getting back to him.
Yeah, has to really be focused up. As you see right now, Silvasti already the first out of the pits, 5.2 seconds at the stops for these Formula Renaults, for they're very quick compared to the Pro Mazdas, who are up into the 10 to 15 second range. So they have, I think for MacGyver, he's got to focus on trying to gain as much of the time back as he can to get the best finish as he can, especially with having minimal damage after that situation, to get up to Van Loosenhoorn, especially since he could very well be coming in potentially this time by.
He certainly could do. So for now, Juni Silvasti back out and away. Martin van Loosenhoorn, though, looking to make his one and only stop, trying to get out in front of the 21 machine. Does he dive down onto the lane? No, he's able to continue on this line, on this run, onto his 24th lap of this event. Half an hour through and still needing a little bit of help on the fuel. Les Peck then comes down and makes his stop in the 51 for the second time in a row, speeding on pit exit, I'm hearing.
Yeah, that just adds to some bad luck. He lost a bit of time here and there in some parts of turn 5. Now, having to go back into the pit lane, that's going to be something that will really cost him a heck of a time in terms of the race overall. You see now Peck coming out of the way at this point, all the way back in 17th spot after running in the top 10 for much of the first half of the race.
Vincenzo Taormina then applying pressure, on Brenton Parker. This one for 10th and 11th out on circuit as the pair run 9 seconds behind Aurelian Gimmelvit as they head into the lefts and rights then of 10A and 10B. So Taormina trying to make the move, not close enough just yet, but staying consistent though, which is very, very vital. Gap was 3/10, it's now there or thereabouts. It was a 19 flat against an 18.9, slightly lost time.
They lost a little bit, but hoping to gain it back here. It looks back through the start of the S's, but Van Loosnoord is now into the pits, able to come right in about 2 laps more than the rest of the Formula Renaults.
In comes Van Loosnoord, looking for a very late box as he started 25th in qualifying, so he'll have the penultimate box then furthest away from everybody else. In and out he comes with a very, very quick splash and dash. And where will he come out in comparison? Silvasti already long over the hill. Tim MacGyver looking to make the charge now. Les Peck comes out in front. Dendelo comes out in front. But Martin Van Loosnoord, there's a little bit of work to do after that stop.
Yeah, right now about 12 seconds back to the leader, and the next driver for position again is about 3.5 seconds up the road. So he's got a lot of time to try and work up, especially since, of course, the other drivers already went in the pits. He has to just focus on the marks, try and get as fast a times as he can to try at least get back to Dendelord to try and get to a second place finish.
Well, he knows he wants a second place finish. He knows he can get a second place finish, and how telling would this race be if the two vehicles finishing 1 and 2 started from 25th in the pit lane respectively. That shows you how good of a drive they have had backwards through the field. So David Dendelo is the only bastion then of respect for those who started up at the front, started 3rd position on the field, so got himself up into 2nd and is doing very, very well. Now Manning Grinnan, though, on the rear of Vincenzo Taormina, as well as there's Fabio Berchold, who is 1 lap down at the moment as well. So 10th, 11th, 12th, 3-car scrap.
Yeah, 3-car scrap, but look what just happened in the lead. Silvasti just let on by Dendelo. Something must have happened with Silvasti there, because he's losing a lot of speed all of a sudden.
It was a spin. It was a spin coming out of turn 10B. Gets on the power. A little bit late. Was on the grass and is trying to save it every which way he looks. Gets on the binders and, well, he's done very well just to hold it together. The infallible Silvasti with a fallible mistake.
Yeah, you might have seen that little jump in the air. That is what caused him by far when he bumped off the curbs to spin out like that. So that was a huge mistake there. Carrying just too much speed there, and that little bump in the air ends up costing him the lead now. Looks like he has minimal, if no damage, if at all. So he's got to now just try and close this gap back up. Lost himself to as far back as 1 second back of Dendelo. Now he's down to 4/10.
4/10 of a second, so we'll look to get the race lead back once more. And David Dendelo now leading this event when he wasn't really expecting it. So Silvasti, get back up onto pace and start making your charge back through. Sometimes when you think the race is easy and wrapped up, that it can be the most difficult race to win, because he's got to work hard now to get back past Dendelo as they head into the S's section once again. And Silvasti pretty much playing a safer game as he looks to try and push himself through the corners, just easing his way through. Wants only an easy overtake then on David Dendelo. And Dendelo now can see run off the exit then, and Silvasti putting the power down. It's going to go high side to try and get past Dendelo, the outside line, and easily gets it comfortably on the power.
Yeah, just shows again the ability of Silvasti, and again the ability to have the speed. Again, Dendelo didn't help his case either by having to save it once again, coming out of turn number 7 a little bit, hooking towards the right. So now for Silvasti, especially now with the distance you're having, he can just put it on cruise control again, but this time, make sure he doesn't hit a rumble strip so he doesn't go around here. But of course, we got to remember the cause here with Ava's race against cancer. This is a cause I should really say. Of course, of the 2-year-old for Ava going into the hospital at one point with an upset stomach led to a much worse diagnosis, as mentioned, with neuroblastoma cancer. Of course, raising about more than $6,000, I should say, since the start of donations to try and cover for medical costs. Again, if you want to donate, please follow the link in the description or see the URL above in the ticker and write it into your search bar as right now. Again, a very worthy cause to try and go towards that. We have to remember, while it's a very competitive race, that is, again, on top of racing for a victory, what we're racing for. Racing against cancer and to try and raise funds for Ava.
Yeah, that is certainly the case then, as your top 5 remain Silvasti, Dendelo, Van Loosenhoorn, MacGyver, and Ron Wallace. As things stand, MacGyver will want to get it onto the podium, have 3, as we've had a DNF for the number 17, that's Jean-Paul Bonadonna, who has crashed out of the event. That one was heading through turn number 1, looking to put the power down. A vehicle in front as well gets absolutely T-boned there with Chris Knight, so there's Bonadonna getting involved in an incident. Chris Knight, not for the first time, finding himself in issues.
Yeah, huge bad luck there for Bonadonna, and we'll see what happened to Chris Knight. A couple of cars were smoking just after that, as well as Chris Knight ended up going way too wide on the exit, went in the grass and nowhere to go. We talked about where sometimes luck pays advantage to missing wrecks like that. That time, Bonadonna had 0 luck whatsoever in that case.
No luck at all, and out he goes. Gap between Van Loosenhoorn and Dendelo came down by 2/10 over that last lap. A 17.7 from Van Loosenhoorn, a 17.9 from David Dendelo. The gap 1.5 seconds then, as we head into the final 10 minutes then at Road Atlanta. And it's not just 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes plus when Silvasti gets himself back around again for the 48-minute race that we've got. David Dendelo under pressure. Van Loosenhoorn is inching his way to the draft.
Yeah, right now, about 10 kilometers an hour faster right now down the straight into turn 10A and B right now. So he has that speed and the slipstream and the control he needs to gain this time up. He just has to get in the right spot, just time it up to where he can get the pass done. He is in that range. He, again, is just whiffing that drag from behind. Has to keep on hitting the marks, though, with Dendelo, because, again, Dendelo was a very tough driver to battle with for parts of this race at the first early going.
0.8 of a second now, the gap, as Van Loosenhoorn tries to bring his machine through against Dendelo in the 69. So MacGyver behind, probably a little bit too far back at the moment to really attack and do anything here. Unless Dendelo and Van Loosenhoorn come together, I'm not sure how this one is going to end. Lap 30 then of the event into turn 6 and 7. Once more, these pair come along, and for Van Loosenhoorn, he knows that he's just got to make that move, one move, to make sure that he is up another position. Still got that 3-car scrap though. Taormina, Grinnan and Parker. We'll keep an eye on that one then towards the end of this one, but back upwards to Dendelo and Van Loosenhoorn, because Van Loosenhoorn's got the draft, and this is plain sailing to the inside. He's going to go, and David Dendelo will be caught absolutely nowhere trying to hold on to the position. Big slide though from Van Loosenhoorn, well held.
Well held here, but look at the run from behind. Dendelo's trying to match the line again out of turn 1. Might be feathering the throttle a little bit, just trying to wait to get to the bottom of turn 1. Tried to get underneath, just couldn't get to the right spot to try and capitalize on that mistake with the slide. So you can tell this is going to be a fierce battle potentially for the next few laps here. But Dendelo just lost a lot of time, just working the wheel a little bit too much going through the start of the exit.
Here comes Manning Grinnan though, looking at Brenton Parker with a little bit of green eye envy as he tries to get up into 8th position on the road, and not quite able to make that work, but trying to pick the run up off the exit then, get a chance in towards turn number 1, but not quite forthcoming at the moment as this three-car scrap looks to continue into the trio go, and no change in the position, but look at the run off the exit, defended hard by Parker.
Yeah, he tried to poke his way onto the right side, but nowhere to really take the run unless you went and bumped in the back wing. So Grinnan having the awareness to back off, but again, I've noticed this a lot with the Pro Mazdas when they try and go towards the right side and try and arc it in from high to low for the start of the apex for the S's. It usually loses you a couple tenths of a second.
Oh my goodness, that's Spolstra around then at turn number 6. So, notorious turn 5.
And look at this.
So, wow.
Multiple drivers getting collected at the same time. Bourbon getting collected. Brenton Parker just got collected. At the same time you were starting to mention that. Let's look at the replay first with what happened to Spolstra. Again, turn number 5, claiming our victim with a spin. But then, right as he turned it back around, this happened. Bumper cars as a slow car up in front. Parker nowhere to go. Gets this extensive damage to his machine. As he, I think he wasn't expecting the speed there. Having one driver in front of him having to really let off to try and not lose control. That brings them to the pits.
Well, I guess it was a bit of a catch in two minds there from that driver that was Jack Bourbon. Bourbon is multiple laps down, trying to get past the lap down vehicle of Mark Cooper. He was trying to get through, then he was trying to let Grinnan and co through. Just instantly gets caught in two minds in the middle of nowhere, and that is just a lack of awareness there that causes the incident. So that one's going to hurt, and for Brenton Parker, that's going to pretty much signal the end of a top 10 run, and in such a shame the way that one ends. For David Dendelo, though, he's still been able to keep relatively close to Martin van Loosnord as we have ourselves under 6 minutes left to go, but it's 2.3 now for Tim MacGyver to try and close. 18 flat against 79, didn't close over that last lap, so Dendelo doing more than enough, it seems, at this stage to maintain a podium spot.
Yeah, I think he's got enough of a cushion pending any mistakes to be able to just get himself to that spot. He is fighting as hard as he can to get to Van Loosnord, but I think if you're right now thinking you've got at least the top 3, MacGyver, I think right now with the time he is losing here and there, that time didn't take the apex as deep as he needed to and lost a 10th there. He's losing a lot of time and just now had to really save it. I think now that the podium is more than safe now for Dendelo after that mistake for MacGyver.
Oh, Tim MacGyver, what have you done? A big wiggle through turn 7. Had to really step on the brake, to save that one. You pretty much overcut the corner there by the inside. Would you say that MacGyver overcutting that corner did enough for him to run himself into trouble?
I think so, because he was off the onto the rumble strips again. We've seen that once before where I think it was with Dendelo, in fact, where you end up having to really lose a lot of time to try and save it. Look at the replay right here. We've seen this similar situation with an onboard earlier on in this race. Now for MacGyver, turns it very sharply to the right, trying to gain time, turns it way too much.
Dendelo. Oh my goodness. We almost had a move per second there because that was David Dendelo looking for a move. Slow traffic as well starting to come into the mix, so Ollie Rochen getting in the mix. Here's David Dendelo, though. Defensive line from Martin van Loosnord, and there's seemingly nothing wrong with van Loosnord's machine. He's just struggling here in the late stages. Dendelo's fighting back.
Yeah, taking advantage of the traffic there. That's exactly what I needed to do here with Dendelo. He is on that back door. Times about 4/10 faster Dendelo was the last time by, in part because of traffic. So he's right where he needs to be. Just needs to cut to the left side if he gets the run. But look at the defensive line. Van Loosnord knows he has a faster driver behind him right now in that Pro Mazda. But now with that mistake, that's going to open up the door for side-by-side.
And there we go. Not necessarily a mistake, but just the difference in machines. It's a lot more easier to turn the Pro Mazda than it is when you look to try and turn the different machine of the Formula Renault. But the Renault with superior grunt, able to hold position and keep ahead just for now. But still, though, Juni Silvasti with a massive lead. The battle for second hotting up with now just under 3 minutes to go. Here at Road Atlanta, Dendelo is trying everything.
Yeah, right now trying everything, jumping on the brakes a little bit later, trying to time it up again to get as much of a run as he can. I think he'll maybe go for it again down into 10-8 potentially, but you can see he wants to go now. He wants to take advantage to the point where he just might have lost the chance to make the pass now for until at least the final lap by having to go really late on the brakes there, almost right to the back. That's going to lose him a lot of time.
But he just missed his braking point ever so slightly. He had to slam the brakes, lock them up, the front tyres, and well, he's done well to avoid Martin van Loosenhoorn, but he's lost himself a good half a second in the process, and that's not very easy to close up in these pro Mazdas. But for Juni Silvasti, he confirms that we are 2 laps away from the end of this event. 1 minute 53 remaining. We will go twice around the circuit, and Dendelo all of a sudden is 8/10 of a second away, and those 8/10, they don't come back cheaply.
They definitely don't. The only ways...
Front stretch. All on his own, and that was in the grass there, Justin. He just gone wide through 11, then wide through 12, and then he's spinning it around and he's into the inside wall.
Yeah, we're going to see this now on your screen. You can see he was mowing the grass, in fact, into the final corner. Just slams head first with no traction again. We'll see what caused him to go that wide. He just didn't turn early enough, I don't think, and ends up going into the grass, going way wide, and no way to control that with no traction. As much as you try to get back on the brakes, just nothing you could have really done after you went as wide as you did after 10B.
But it's so easy to do, but for the moment, for Juni Silvasti, he will make his way to the line because the white flag will come out at Road Atlanta. 47 minutes, 23 seconds, one final revolution of the circuit. We are here for a special cause, and it is a case of never give up. Yes, Juni Silvasti was the fastest by a mile when it came to qualifying, so there's been a big wreck in front. That was Mark Cooper, who ran off into the into the grass, and had a big spin. But that won't matter for the moment for Spolstra, who's already made, for Silvasti, who's already made his way through. We're here for a cause. He wanted to start from the back. He worked hard to make his way through the field. He made a mistake. He dropped the lead. He had to work hard, and he never gave up in this event. A message to anybody who is trying to survive any sort of disease: never give up. To anyone who looks at their dreams, never give up. To 10A and 10B will make the charge. Juni Silvasti, the battle for second. David Dendelo is close, but no cigars at the moment here in comparison to Martin van Loosenhoorn, as Tim MacGyver, I believe, has just done a 1:23 over that last lap and has really started to struggle in this event. For Juni Silvasti, that will be that. Lights out. Silvasti goes from pit lane to race winner, and he does so with a 1:16.5 to end proceedings there. Juni Silvasti with a fantastic race, and not only that, but he sets fastest lap of the day as well.
Yeah, that last lap being his second fastest of the day, where he had a 1:16.537 at one point in the last stages. 1:16.578 at blistering pace from Silvasti, come from behind, and some great runs for a great cause here in this race as we follow along with some of the rest of the drivers. Robert coming away with the top 5 finish at one point, had moved and shuffled back with some troubles, and MacGyver, well, as you mentioned, struggling off.
He was short on fuel, so he had to splash and dash. He underfueled the vehicle, so for Tim MacGyver, disaster for him. He drops a couple of positions back into 6th overall ahead of Aurelian Gimmelwitz and the others that look to try and finish this event. But for now, it seems that the final few vehicles will now make their charges over to the start-finish line. Vincenzo Taormina comes home in 8th position. Manning Grinnan was just behind at one stage, not anymore. I think on his final lap, I believe he's also had to do a very quick splash and dash, and that is correct. He had to splash and dash. He was short on the fuel. He'll get home in time, but he'll be home and away in a very, very long time as he now makes his way to the final corner. Classified results then. Let's get them up on your screen with everybody across the line. Easy pickings then for Juni Silvasti. He wins by 13 seconds in the end over Martin van Loosenhoorn, with David Dendelo coming home in 3rd position. Ron Wallace finished his 4th with Henry Robert and Tim MacGyver 5th and 6th. Aurelian Gimmelwitz finished his 7th with Vincenzo Taormina finishing in 8th. Manning Grinnan was finished 9th with Les Peck, the first man 1 lap down. Fabio Berchold was at the front of the field early, but an incident put him back, with Jean-Paul Bonadonna getting involved in 2 big wrecks that he didn't really have much of a say in. Ryan Cullen and Brenton Parker 13th and 14th, with Robert Simpkins 2 laps down, along with Mark Cooper, Jim Lakey, Steve Cube, Justin Jacobs and Fabrice Boris Buisson. 4 laps down is Ollie Roetgen, with drivers failing to finish, the likes of Boris Spolstra, Chris Knight, Jack Bourbon, Jesus Manuel and Greg Chalk unable to make the start. We're going to step aside though very briefly here on RaceSpotTV. We'll be back with more after this.
Welcome back, everyone, for our post-race coverage of the ABA's Race Against Cancer here at Road Atlanta, and what was a competitive one. But of course, while many drivers were competing to try and get a victory, for some, it was about having fun and about trying to raise money for a good cause in the fight against cancer. Today, coming away on top, as mentioned by my partner Jake Sperry, was Joni Silvasti in this one. Martijn van Loosnoord finished off 2nd. David Dendeloot in 3rd. Wallace and Robert finished off in the top 5. MacGyver had the double splash to get some fuel near the end. Comes away 6th. And you'll see the rest of your results up on your screen. But again, a race for a good cause to try and raise money to try and help a child with cancer with medical treatment. Of course, a very young child just finishing up her 20th and final radiation treatment before going on to the next part of the treatment plan. With that, as you see the rest of your results up on your screen, it's time. Why don't we bring in one of the main organizers in terms of trying to raise this money and trying to help with the race against cancer, Brenton Parker. Brenton, it was a very competitive race today, that's for sure, here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. I had was a little bit farther up the order early on, and had an unfortunate spin down at the bottom of the hill, and then right towards the end there, just started catching a lot of the back markers, and didn't get through clean going onto the back straight. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and definitely some good battles throughout the field. It looked like Junie just checked out at the front. He got by me early, and he was just gone after that. Guy was in a class of his own.
Yeah, running the even faster, I think, than he did in qualifying. In fact, in the last few moments of the race, too, getting to the 1:16.5s and setting the fastest lap times within the final 5-10 minutes. But of course, Of course, it's Ava's Race Against Cancer, of course, for this, of course. So far, since the beginning, raising now just under $7,000 in donations to help with medical costs. How are you feeling about trying to raise money to help kick cancer, as you put it, for 2-year-old Ava?
She actually just turned 3, so she's 3 now. I had forgotten about that. But yeah, it's a great thing. You know, we're able to do something that I enjoy and all the other drivers on here enjoy, and, you know, get a lot of money raised for a family that needs it. So it's definitely a really cool thing. You know, we got guys racing from Australia and Spain, and, you know, I'm in Florida, and the Deal family is in Pennsylvania. So it's neat to get people from, you know, all over coming together for a good cause. It's definitely, you know, a good thing to do. And I think of that almost $7,000 on the GoFundMe, the vast majority of that, or, you know, at least half of it or more, has come from iRacing. We've done this is a third series of races now for this cause. You know, on week 13, everybody seems to enjoy it, and it's a good cause. And yeah, it's just fun to be part of it, and, you know, hope everybody had a good time with it.
I think the best way was, I mean, I should really phrase in terms of the way the race today was, I think in terms of the raising money for the cause and having fun was most emphasized by John Paul Bonadonna, who was involved in 2 different incidents. Even though with that he said he had an absolute blast and having awesome, even with the wrecks, who cares? It's about raising money for a good cause and having fun. Now, of course, with this race, where do you go from here with the Ava's Race Against Cancer? As I just mentioned, just a few days ago, finishing up, I believe, her 20th and last radiation treatment before going to the next stage of the treatment.
Yeah, I talked to her dad the other day, and, you know, they've just been in just a series of one doctor's appointment after another. She's had chemo and radiation. I can't remember if he said they were coming up on or just had a bone marrow transplant. So, you know, this little girl's been in just one fight after another for the last year since they discovered she had this cancer. So, you know, probably organize another event in the future to help out. It's an ongoing struggle, and, you know, even if all of the treatment and everything responds, she's still not going to be out of the woods for a while. So hopefully, you know, the doctors know what they're doing and can help her out and come together as the iRacing community once in a while and chip in. I think everybody enjoys it, and, you know, there's a benefit to it as well. So I figure anytime I can put my video gaming hobby to a good cause, that's a win-win. So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool for sure, especially to raise money for a good cause to help her. Is there anyone you want to thank before, or anything you want to say before we let you get going today?
I'd just like to thank you guys actually for doing an excellent job with the broadcast. I always enjoy watching them afterwards. It's one of the reasons so many people sign up. You know, it's kind of fun to do the race and then see it like you're watching TV afterwards. So thank you guys for doing a professional job, and thank everybody who donated, especially the guys who donated and couldn't make the race. You know, that they're just giving to somebody they don't know, and they're not even getting any benefit for it. You know, a lot of guys donated and then didn't have a chance to race. So especially big thanks to all of those guys. John Stevens from yesterday, I know he felt bad after the end of the race there. Racing incident, I was hoping he could make this morning's race, but I guess he couldn't get in. And, you know, thanks to him, he's donated several times now. And everybody else that's donated, just big thanks to all of them.
Thank you as well, and thank you for having such a great event, again, for a worthy cause. Thank you very much for the time, Brenton.
All right, man. You guys have a good day. Thanks again. Goodbye.
Thank you to you, too. And, of course, a very competitive Ava's Race Against Cancer today here at Road Atlanta this morning and afternoon, depending on where you are across the world today. Uni Silvesti ended up coming away on top 10 in iRating, and today turning very quick times here on this track for a good cause. Again, for the rest of everyone else, it was a very good, quiet, and calm race for a lot of drivers for a good cause here on RaceSpotTV. Today, I'd like to thank everyone who was a part of today's broadcast. Jake Sperry, along with Hugo Ruiz, who is doing the directing and camera work for today's broadcast, as well as the rest of your sponsors you see up on your screen for today's coverage here from Road Atlanta. I'm Justin Prince, and thank you very much for tuning in for what was a good day of racing for a good cause of Ava's Race Against Cancer. With that, it's time to say goodbye. Have a good Sunday afternoon, everyone, and be sure to tune in to the rest of the action across iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. You guys have a great rest of your weekend.